So what are some typical technical drawing conventions? Well, again, if we look at some sample drawings, here we'll see that the outline of the object has been drawn extra heavy. Okay, and some of the lines need to be dashed, and there are some center lines also added to the drawing, and they represent different things depending on what you're drawing. Okay, for us, maybe it'd be good if we opened up that drawing called Exercise 4F Center Marks. And let's talk about a technical drawing convention. Okay, now the technical drawing convention is whenever you have a circle on a technical drawing, we need to show where the center point is. And the easiest way to do that is to add something called a center mark. Okay, so now when this drawing opens up, you'll see that center lines are the current layer. There are extra heavy lines in this drawing. They are the visible or the object, the edges that you can see. If you don't see heavy lines, make sure your display line weight button is turned on. Okay, but the easiest way to make a center mark is to do this. I'm going to basically draw two lines that cross from the quadrants, one side to the other. And then the deal with center marks is they are imaginary. They're not really there. So because they're not really there, they need to stick out a little bit past the edge of the object that they're showing the center point of. So now if you take a look here, I'm clicking on the line and grabbing the grip and then pointing it the direction I want it to go. I'm just typing in 0.25. I'm extending or stretching the line a quarter inch past the edge. 0.25. Okay, and when we're done, we've got something that looks like a little sniper scope, right? This is called a center mark. So now one method, again, is to draw a center line north to south and another one east to west and make sure they stick out a little bit past the edges of the circle. Now, if your center lines are not long enough, they will not show the pattern. Okay, so look, these are on the center layer, but they're not showing that pattern of long, short, long. Why is that? Well, because they're not long enough to break into the pattern yet. Okay, even if I extend it a quarter inch in both directions, it's not breaking into the pattern. So there are several things we can do to fix that up. Just understand, if you want a center line and it's not giving it to you, you're going to have to take some guerrilla action in order to get it to work, okay? So, what's an example of the guerrilla action we might have to take? Well, this is the simplest way to make a center mark. Two crossing lines drawn on the center layer. There's another way to make center marks though, and let's give it a try. You might like it. I'm going to copy this over here, just so we have a circle the same size as the first one. We are on the Home tab, and we've been on the Home tab for a very long time, and most of this class is on the Home tab. This is the one chance we're going to get to walk on the wild side. We're going to go over to the Annotate tab. Okay, and on the Annotate tab, there is a special tool for annotations. And annotation just means notes. Okay, and the note we want to add is I want to add a center mark to that circle. So you click on center mark, and when you see the pick box, click on the circle, and check that out, right? It added a nice looking center mark that goes a little bit past the edges. And if we do the same thing on the little circle, it gives me a smaller center mark. Okay, so this might be a better way to add center marks to your drawings if you need to. Anytime you have a circle or an arc in a drawing, it should have a center mark of some sort. This is the best way to add it. Now, if you have items where there are multiple circles nested in each other, they're concentric, they share the same center point. When you center mark it, don't center mark the inside one. Center mark the outside one. Okay, So always go to the outermost arc when you have multiple circles or arcs sharing a center point and you want to make a center mark. And then if we have a big one, well, it'll throw a big center mark on there too. Okay, so that is the center mark tool, and that is a technical drawing standard practice. This is a slot with rounded ends, right? So I'm going to get a click on the left side, and I have a click on the right side, and now my two arcs have their center marks, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab the grip on the center mark and drag it over, and now we're indicating that these two slots are in a single line. Of the center here is in one line with the center there. Alright, so that's how we can add some center mark notation to our drawings, and you'll be doing that. Again, this is not something I made up. This is standard practice on any technical drawing work that you do. Okay, now there's another use for a center line. If we go down a little ways, center line can also be used to indicate symmetry. So the left side and the right side are symmetrical. So I'll add my center line. I'll pull it up a little bit. Quarter inch up, quarter inch down. Okay. And now someone looking at this who sees that center line knows that the left side and the right side are symmetrical. On my little V shape here, same idea. Right, I'll add the center line and I'll pull it up. I'll pull it down so it's not touching the edges. It sticks a little past. And then anyone that understands how to interpret a technical drawing will know what that means. Okay, and we might also do this because if you think about it, it is also symmetrical in this direction, isn't it? The top half is symmetrical to the bottom half. So here are a couple of uses for center lines. The beautiful thing about these is AutoCAD will automatically put them on for you. It will automatically give you nice spacing, even if you're using just lines and they're crossing each other. Okay, AutoCAD does some tough work for you there. We'll see when we go to the drawing lab if you haven't done that yet, or if you have done the hand drawing, you might be saying to yourself, wow, this is pretty nice that it leaves the gap for you and it's perfect. All the dashes are the same size and consistent. Why would you want to use the center mark tool when it seems a little bit easier maybe to just draw lines? Well, I'm going to tell you the center mark tool is actually pretty smart. It's a smart tool. So this was made with two crossing lines, right, on the center layer. Watch what happens when I make my circle bigger. See, nothing happens? Nothing happens because this is a dumb line, and this is a dumb line, and they don't know that they're the center mark for a circle. Watch this though. I'll go grab this circle and I'll drag, and do you see what's happening to the center mark? See, the center mark will shrink or grow if the size of the geometry changes. They're linked together, and you know, that is pretty cool. So I think a lot of times the center mark tool is probably the way to go because it links itself to the circle. If you move the circle, the center mark will go with it automatically. If you move the circle without selecting crossing center lines, well, they're not that smart. They just stay where they are and the circle moves. Okay, so here are some technical drawing conventions about center lines and how we use the layer and the line types in AutoCAD to create them.